Hello, my name is John. Welcome to Spare Time at Home. This class is called Bodyweight Resistance Training. Ready? Let's get started. There are 4 basic techniques I want to go over for any resistance training program. We're going to be covering a tripod foot, a core stabilization, upper body stabilization, and tempo. So I want to start off with a tripod foot. What that means is there are 3 points in the foot that should maintain contact with the ground. So we have our big toe, the ball of our foot, and our pinky toe ball and our heel. So those 3 points should maintain contact with the ground the entire time. What I want to focus on is maintaining contact with those 3 points, but also pressing the ankles outwards, which will point those knees outwards as well. What that does, it activates the correct abductors, the muscles running along the sides of our hips here, the gluteus minimus and medius, and also the TFL. So we want to make sure that we activate those during any leg movements that will allow us to become stronger in, say, a squat, a lunge, or even a deadlift. So make sure that you have those tripod feet pointing the ankles outwards, which also follows up with the knees. That activates the gluteus minimus and medius and the TFL, creating a very strong leg movement. Core stabilization is essential in all of movements. You want to make sure that you have a strong central spine and protect that spine at all costs. So core stabilization is absolutely necessary in every movement. It involves the rectus abdominis, the internal and external obliques, and also the transverse abdominis. To make sure that we activate those in the entire time, pull in your stomach or your belly button towards your spine to activate all of those muscles in every movement. We want to make sure that we don't have any type of low back arch in any movement. Those ribs will come out and that'll create an unstable position for your spine. So suck in the belly button towards your spine. That will activate the core and create a very strong base for any movement. Upper body stabilization is paired with core stabilization. We want to make sure that our upper body is in the correct position, again, to protect the spine and create a strong core and basis for any movement. So we want to make sure that the shoulders are in the correct position. That is the main purpose for this technique, is to make sure that the scapula are retracted and depressed into the spine. What that means is making sure that the shoulders are pulled back and are depressed away from the ears. So that will create a strong upper body position for most movements involving carrying equipment or weight with our hands or on our shoulders. I want to demonstrate the tempo that is involved in any resistance or hypertrophy training program. There are 4 numbers involved in sequence from eccentric, isometric, concentric, and the returning number. We want to focus on a higher eccentric number and a lower concentric number. So what that looks like in a bicep curl is the concentric motion would be a 1-2 count, a hold for 1 at the top, a 1-2-3-4 count on the way down, or the eccentric motion, and a hold for 1 at the bottom. So 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. Welcome to workout number 1 of bodyweight resistance training. We're going to be doing a full body circuit for the first workout. That's going to include a step up, a body squat, a tricep dip, and a push-up. The first movement we're going to do is the step up. We want to remember our tripod foot. There are 3 points of contact on the foot at the ball of our feet on the big toe and the pinky toe, and also the heel. So as we step up, we want to be pressing on all three of those points and rolling our ankle outwards slightly. So what that does is it activates the gluteus medius and the minimus to help with stabilization in the movement. So I'm going to demonstrate that really quickly. We're going to be stepping up, placing our foot all the way onto the box and pressing outwards, coming up. You can come up into full extension at the top or place your foot on the ground. We're going to be stepping back down with that same foot, switching feet, pressing upwards, coming up into that full extension, or if you need to, placing that other foot on the box for stabilization and coming right back down. We're going to be doing a total of 20 reps, 15 to 20, alternating feet each time, making sure we activate the glutes and the quads in this exercise. The second movement is going to be a body squat. Now we want to make sure that we stand about shoulder width apart. The big toe should be in line with our shoulder crease here for shoulder width. What I want you to do is I want you to place all 3 points of contact on the ground of that tripod foot, press the ankles outward, and keep the knees from caving in as we come up from the body squat. This is a hip movement as much as it is a knee, so make sure we activate the glutes at the bottom of the squat and come back up using those glutes to the full hip extension at the top. So we're going to be coming down, pressing the ankles outwards. Those knees will automatically come out, come up all the way, fully extending the hips at the top. Make sure we keep the weight in the heels so those knees don't come forward over the toes. I'll show you that from the side. So make sure those knees don't come over the toes like this, keeping the weight back into the heels, pressing those ankles outwards as we press forward into the full hip extension. We're going to be doing 15 to 20 of those, and that's the body squat. The next movement we're going to be doing is a tricep dip. You can use this on a lower box like I have here, or something higher like a table or a couch. Just make sure that it is stable and that can hold your weight without falling. So we're going to be practicing the upper body stabilization. What I want you to do is keep the scapula retracted and depressed, so the shoulder blades are going to be staying pinched together and away from the ears during this movement. Come to the box and little outside 90-degree angles with our knees at this level. It'll be a little bit higher if you use a higher box or table. I want you to keep the elbows back, shoulder blades pinched together as you come down. Make sure to keep the shoulders away from the ears as well. Coming down nice and slow, and then popping right back up. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, practicing the tempo. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 1, 2. And then we're going to be doing 15 to 20 of those. Just make sure you pick a good weight. You want to be able to get through all 15 to 20 at a good pace. So if you need to raise the box to make it a little bit easier, go ahead and do so. The last exercise we're going to be doing is the push-up. There are many variations of the push-up. I'm going to be showing you one that is going to be great for chest and core stabilization. So what I want you to focus on is making sure that your upper body is stabilized, the scapula are in the right place, and also your core is engaged. We want to suck the belly button into the spine to activate those inner core muscles. So the first movement I'm going to show you is one variation, and then I'm going to show you a modification if you need it. So we want to put our hands about shoulder width apart. I want you to have your elbows coming out as you come down at about a 45-degree angle away from your torso. Coming down using a 4 count on the way down, 2 count on the way up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Make sure those shoulder blades stay back, core is engaged. A variation to make it a little bit easier is the 3-step or negative push-up. So same positioning up at the top. I want you to come down in that 4 count. 1, 2, 3, 4. Drop the knees, come up on the knees, making sure those hips don't come up as well. So those hips stay low. We shouldn't be in all fours at this position. So make sure that you're nice and straight. Extend those knees again to come up to the upright position here. Coming back down, 1, 2, 3, 4, drop the knees, come back up and extend. Make sure that you use that 4 count. We're going to be doing 15 to 20 of these, and that's the last exercise. Those are the 4 components of workout number 1, the step up, body squat, tricep dip, and the push-up. Complete all 4 of those within a 15-minute period, 15 to 20 minutes, as many rounds as possible. We're going to be moving on to workout number 2, which is a leg resistance program. Workout number 2 is a leg resistance training program. We're going to be involving 4 movements. Now, with these movements, definitely make sure we implement all 4 of the techniques that I had previously mentioned. So the first movement is going to be a anchored split squat. Next one is going to be a side lunge. Third is going to be a body weight good morning. And the last one is going to be a burpee. First movement we're going to be doing is an anchored split squat. It is a lunge form, so if you want to bring a pad underneath your knee, that's totally fine. We're going to be starting off in the bottom of the movement here. So both knees should be at 90-degree angles. Make sure those hips stay forward and you stay upright. Core is engaged, shoulder, upper body is engaged as well. We're going to be holding on to the chair here for stabilization. If you don't need it, that's great. Just make sure as you come up out of the split squat, we are maintaining all 3 points of contact in that tripod foot and pressing that ankle outwards to get the activation of the glutes that we need. We're going to be coming up and right back down. Go ahead and do 15 to 20 on each side, making sure that we get that 4 count on the way down and that 2 count on the way up. Do it both sides, right and left leg. The second movement is going to be the side lunge. We want to make sure that we maintain contact with the ground with our heels at all times, and then bring our toe up on the straight leg each time. Core engaged, shoulders engaged, making sure that we stabilize throughout the entire movement. No hunching of the back involved. So start off with your feet together. We're going to be doing right to left. So starting off, nice wide stance here. You want to be coming down onto that heel, that other leg, the toe comes up, nice and straight, coming down as low as you can, keeping the weight on the heel, pressing that ankle outwards to engage the glute as you come up, returning back to the center. Same thing other side. Nice and wide step here, coming down, pushing that knee out, pressing upwards, coming into the center again. So once again, this is a great muscle worker for the quads and the glutes. That completes the side lunge exercise, 15 to 20 of those. The third movement is a body weight good morning. It is a hinge movement for involving our hips, using the glutes and hamstrings as the main muscle mover. With this movement, we definitely want to maintain a neutral spine, as this does add tension to your lower back. So as we start adding weight, you want to have that strong and neutral spine the entire time, otherwise it's risk for injury. So make sure that your shoulders are in the right position and that your core is engaged. Starting off in a hip width position with your feet, we're going to be crossing our arms across our chest. As you bend forward, you'll feel tension in your hamstrings and in your low back. Make sure that low back does not round out, which causes more damage as we start loading weight. This is just body weight, so I want you to practice this movement until you get confident enough to add weight. So bending forward, keeping a slight knee bend in the knees, coming down, nice and flat back, core is engaged, popping up into the full upright position. Use the tension in the hamstrings and the glute muscles to pop that all the way up into the upright position, full hip extension at the top. So again. Make sure you do that about 15 to 20 times. and that completes the body weight good morning. The last movement I would like you to do is a burpee. There are many variations of this burpee. I'm going to show you one plus a modified edition for those of you who need it. I'm going to be going to the mat here, starting off with our feet just in front of the mat here, about shoulder width apart. I want you to squat down as low as you can, placing your hands on the mat. I want you to maintain a flat back during this process. Either walk or jump your feet out into push-up position, drop down into that push-up, walk up into the squatting position, and from here we're going to be jumping straight up into that jump. A modification would be to take out the push-up and just do a calf raise instead of the jump. So I'll demonstrate that right now. So coming down to that squat, walking out, just the plank, walking back in, and then just a calf raise at the top. So go ahead and do that 15 to 20 times, and we're going to be doing this 2 to 3 rounds. So just go through each exercise 2 to 3 times, back to back, all 4, and take about a 60-second rest in between each set.